ready for some mid-year resolutions. Maybe you have a mid-year resolution of saving money for the last 6 months of 2022, or losing weight. Maybe it's waking up early, spending more time with the family, spending less time on social media. Maybe it's finally getting around to starting a podcast or writing a book or just reading more. Step 1 is identify what is the new goal that you're trying to start for the rest of this year. And not only that, I'm going to give you a bonus tip here, which is to identify what are the short-term and long-term benefits from starting that goal. What I love most about identifying the short-term and the long-term aspects of the goal is it really gets down to, why is this new lifestyle change, this new habit, so important to me? And you'll be more likely to stick with it because there are a lot more whys behind it. Are you passionate about this goal? Simon Sinek says it best. Check this out.
But very, very few know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. That's a result. By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? The inspired leaders all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Let me give you an example. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this: we make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one?
Step 2, as cliche as it sounds, a goal without a plan is simply a wish. Kobe Bryant once said, once you make the commitment, don't give yourself the opportunity to negotiate. Don't adjust the terms behind what you've agreed upon. Stick to the plan. If you're telling yourself that you're gonna, start a New Year resolution of waking up earlier so you have more time for a morning routine, or maybe it's eating better. Mel Robbins wrote a book called The 5-Second Rule. And she said, whenever you're apprehensive of doing your set goal, give yourself 5 seconds to lift off. Count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then do it. This was in reference to potentially waking up earlier, right? So if you're just like laying in bed and you're like, all right, my alarm's going off, you're tempted to say, cool, screw this goal, we're gonna hit snooze and just be late to work per usual. Or better yet, you can say, all right, cool, 5 seconds, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and literally jump out of bed, crawl out of bed, throw yourself out of bed, do whatever you can to get out of bed if that is the goal. Literally. You will thank yourself later and be proud that you stuck to the commitment. Keep in mind, in the development of a new goal or a new habit, the plan is critical. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Thank you, Ben Franklin, for that oldie but goodie, but it's true. So identify the plan and put it into a calendar and stick to the plan. Now, Bri, what do you do when you mess up? What do you do when you fall off the horse and you disappoint yourself again? Keep in mind, it's totally normal to mess up, but the moment that you notice that the negative self-talk is creeping in, fight against it, focus back on the positive, why you initially started this goal to begin with, and stick to the plan. Start new again the next morning. Next step is set yourself up for success. The placement of your environment is critical when you're starting a new change. If you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to keep getting what you've always got. James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, talks about this. In his book, talks about how he wanted to develop the habit of flossing. And he decided to get a little bowl, put all his, flossing picks into the bowl. And so every single time he would, be brushing his teeth, He would have in his visibility a little bowl full with flosses. So he would take one, floss, for a minute, and then boom. And now, X amount of years later, he's flossing like a champ. So the environment is key. Maybe your goal is to eat better. Well, make sure that the environment is setting you up for success. Clean out the pantry of all the bad goodies that might feel great in the moment, but then 15 minutes later might not feel the best. All right, I'm sure many of us are asking, okay, what do we do when it's in the calendar to do set goal, set habit, but we just don't feel motivated? It's a great question. So I have a technique for you. It's called the Pomodoro technique. Using this method, it breaks down your workday into 25-minute chunks separated by 5-minute breaks. So working in intervals might help you get into the rhythm, creatively speaking even, to eventually get into a state of flow that will trigger a lot of that creativity to come out and that motivation to come out. So the Pomodoro, set a timer for 25 minutes and work for 25 minutes. Maybe it's your New Year resolution or your mid-year resolution is to read a new book. You're like, man, I want to get into reading again. Fantastic. Set 25 minutes on the timer, read. If you only read one page, fantastic, because you still stuck to it, and that's awesome. But 9 times out of 10, you might be reading something and then all of a sudden you move on to the next page and the next page and the next page, and then boom, you access a sense of flow and you just knocked out 7-10 pages in those 25 minutes. I read slow. My last step here when it comes to motivation is track your progress consistently. Sometimes we might feel like we're not doing the best, but if you're tracking stats on paper, whether it's weight loss, whether it's how many pages you've read out of a book, maybe it's flossing, whatever the case is, keep track of how many days you're sticking to the diet or sticking to the habit and track your progress. You can't manage what you don't measure. Opinions are valuable, but data is priceless. So look at your progress objectively so that way you can plan accordingly for the following week. And lastly, keep in mind, it does take about 66 days to start a new habit and to establish it within our routine, within our lifestyle. So this process will not happen overnight. Just give it some time. All right, if you found this video helpful, fantastic. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, like this video, share it with a bud that needs a little motivation to start their mid-year resolutions, and I will see you next time.